Now, I don't know about you, but I love coming across someone who makes me stop and go, well, they really figured something out, didn't they? This video's all about one of those people, a Japanese doctor named Shigeaki Hinohara, who lived to be 105 years old, stayed sharp as a tack, and worked right up into his hundreds. Sadly, he passed away in 2017, but not before leaving behind a lifetime's worth of practical, gentle, and often surprising advice on how to live longer. And more importantly, how to live well. So today I'll be walking you through 13 of his best tips, covering food, movement, mindset, purpose, and a few things you might not expect. It's not about perfection. It's about presence, staying engaged, staying curious, and making the most of the time we've got. And before we dive in, I'd love it if you could like the video, subscribe to the channel, and tap the little bell so you'll know when I've got another one for you. Also, I'd love your thoughts on this one. So if you enjoy it, just leave a 1 in the comments. If it didn't land for you, leave a 0. No hard feelings. I'll try to do better next time. But please leave a comment below anyway. I'd love to hear your favorite advice on health and living longer. Knowing you're out there makes all the difference to me. All right then, let's talk about Dr. Hinohara's advice and see if we can borrow a bit of his magic. Tip number 1, keep moving. Let's start with one of the most important, and honestly, one of the hardest, pieces of advice from Dr. Hinohara. Keep moving, even when you'd rather be horizontal, even when the sofa's calling your name like a long-lost lover. Dr. Hinohara didn't just talk about staying active, he lived it. He took the stairs every day, carried his own bags, refused to use elevators, even in hospitals, and he worked in hospitals. He said, "When I must attend to my patients, I get out of the car in the hospital's parking lot and take the stairs. I try to carry my own things, too." And this wasn't a vanity thing. He believed that regular movement was essential for keeping the body and brain young. And he was right. Even gentle physical activity, walking, standing up more often, stretching, helps prevent heart disease, stroke, and cognitive decline. It keeps your circulation flowing, your joints from locking up, and your mood from sliding downhill. And I've learned it doesn't have to be fancy. You don't need a gym membership. You don't need Lycra. You just need to choose motion over stillness most of the time. Dr. Hinohara believed that aging wasn't just about years. It was about how much you engage with life. And movement is part of that engagement. He said, "To stay young, you must do something every day to move your body, and also something to stir your soul. So take the stairs, dance in the kitchen, walk around while you're on the phone. It all adds up, because the moment you stop moving, well, your body starts to think it's time to shut down. And we're not ready for that yet, are we?" Tip number 2, eat light and don't obsess over food. Right. Let's talk about food, because apparently living a long life has less to do with superfoods and more to do with not stuffing yourself like it's Sunday roast every night. Dr. Hinohara's eating habits were wonderfully simple. Here's what he had most days. For breakfast, a cup of coffee, a glass of milk, and some orange juice with a tablespoon of olive oil. Yes, olive oil, straight off the spoon. He said it was great for his arteries and helped keep his skin soft. Lunch? Often just milk and a few biscuits. Sometimes he skipped it altogether. He said, when you're doing something meaningful, your body forgets about being hungry. For dinner, he kept it light again, mostly vegetables, some rice, and a bit of fish. Twice a week, he'd allow himself about 100 grams of lean meat. But that was it. He didn't believe in indulgence. He believed in balance. He said, "All people who live long, regardless of nationality, race, or gender, share one thing in common: none are overweight." And that's not just opinion. It's backed up by science. Studies on longevity consistently show that maintaining a healthy body weight, especially as we age, dramatically lowers the risk of heart disease, diabetes, and even dementia. And in places like Okinawa, where some of the world's oldest people live, they follow something called hara hachi bu. That means eat until you're 80% full. It's not about dieting. It's not punishment. It's just knowing when to stop. Dr. Hinohara didn't invent the phrase, but he absolutely practiced the idea. He said, to stay healthy, always leave the dining table feeling a little hungry. Hinohara said we should eat for fuel, not entertainment, and keep our focus on doing good things that make us forget about reaching for a snack every 5 minutes. So maybe ask yourself now and then, am I actually hungry? Or just bored, emotional, or standing next to the fridge? It's not about perfection. It's about awareness. And if you get it wrong now and then, welcome to the club. Tip number 3. Don't retire just because a calendar says so. This one, I think many people misunderstand. Dr. Hinohara believed that retirement shouldn't be automatic, not because he thought everyone should work themselves into the ground, but because he believed in staying engaged, curious, and useful for as long as you're able. There is no need to ever retire, but if one must, it should be a lot later than 65. He wasn't talking about clocking into a job you hate until you're in the ground. He was talking about having a reason to wake up, something you love, or something that helps someone else. He worked as a doctor, wrote over 150 books, and gave 100+ lectures a year, many of them while standing, even past the age of 100. Energy comes from feeling good, not from eating well or sleeping a lot. We all remember how, as children, when we were having fun, we often forgot to eat or sleep. And I get what he meant. When you feel useful, when you're doing something that matters to you, even if it's small, you feel more alive. You forget about time. And in some magical way, time forgets about you too. Now, I'm not saying you should keep your old job forever. If your workplace makes you miserable, retire as soon as you can. But retiring from life, that's where the trouble starts. According to a study in the Journal of Epidemiology, early retirement increased the risk of mortality, especially when people didn't stay mentally or socially active afterward. So, volunteer, mentor someone, learn something new. Staying active doesn't have to mean punching a clock. It just means having a reason to get up and brush your teeth. Tip number 4, plan ahead. Always have something to look forward to. Now, this one might surprise you. It's not about green smoothies or vitamin D. It's about hope. Dr. Hinohara believed that one of the most important ways to stay well, physically and mentally, was to always have something to look forward to. Even if it's just a cup of tea with a friend next week, or a phone call, or a blooming plant on the windowsill. Maybe you're planning a trip. He was over 100 years old and still making plans years into the future. In fact, and I love this, He had already booked his ticket to the Tokyo 2020 Olympics. At 100 years old, he said, "Life is all about contribution." When we have goals and things to look forward to, we stay young. And that's the secret, really. It's not about grand events. It's about having little anchors in the future that keep pulling you forward. Because once you stop looking forward, you start looking down. And looking down too long? That's when the light inside you starts to dim. I'm not saying you have to fill your calendar like a Hollywood agent, but have something. One thing. Something that makes you smile when you think about tomorrow. Dr. Hinohara said, "Too many people worry too much about tomorrow. Instead, make plans. Plans give life shape. So write it down. Circle it. Talk about it. And when that thing happens, make another plan. Because when you've got a reason to keep going, you usually do too." Tip number 5. Pain is mysterious. And sometimes, joy is the best medicine. Here's something I didn't expect to hear from a doctor, especially one who practiced medicine for over 70 years. Dr. Hinohara believed that pain isn't always just physical, and it's not always something that needs a pill. He said, "Pain is mysterious, and having fun is the best way to forget it." He encouraged his patients and himself to try things like listening to music, spending time with animals, reading, or just being around people who make you laugh. And not because he was dismissing real pain. He just understood that the brain and the body are connected, and sometimes the best medicine doesn't come in a bottle. It comes in the form of joy. Modern research backs this up too. Laughter triggers the release of endorphins, the body's natural painkillers. Music therapy has been shown to reduce discomfort in people with chronic pain. And petting a dog can literally lower your heart rate. I mean, a cuddle and a giggle might not fix a dodgy hip, but they can certainly take the edge off. He even kept his own hospital rooms bright and cheerful, full of art and color. He believed environment mattered. And honestly, so do I. Pain is real, but so is distraction. I'm not telling you to throw away your paracetamol, but sometimes a silly little joy can be just the thing to tip the scales. And if all else fails, find someone to make you laugh so hard you forget your knees are squeaking. Tip number 6. Be inspired. Let other people light a fire in you. Here's a tip that doesn't involve vegetables, vitamins, or even movement. Dr. Hinohara believed that one of the most important ways to stay youthful, in mind and spirit, was to keep being inspired by other people. He said, "It's important to find inspiration every day. Talk to people, listen to stories, learn from everyone." He wasn't impressed by titles or trophies. He was impressed by curiosity. He'd talk to school children like they were professors and ask centenarians what their secret was, even though he was one himself. And that's something I've noticed too. The people who age the best, they're not the ones who shut themselves off and say, "Well, I've seen it all." They're the ones who lean in and say, "Oh, tell me more." There's a spark that comes from hearing someone else's joy or struggle or idea you'd never thought of. It might be a neighbor who grows tomatoes in a bathtub, or your granddaughter explaining the internet like it's sorcery. Let it move you. Let it lift you. Because when you stop being inspired, you start being stuck. And stuck gets stale fast. The doctor said, "Living long is wonderful, but living with curiosity is even better." So go find someone who lights a fire in you. And better yet, be that fire for someone else too, because none of us are done learning. We've just gotten better at knowing what's worth paying attention to. Tip number 7. Enjoy life to the fullest. Don't just pass the time, live it. Now, I know this one sounds like something you'd see embroidered on a throw pillow, but trust me, Dr. Hinohara meant it. He said, "Life is not to be wasted. Every day should be meaningful." He worked, really worked, for most of his life, some days up to 18 hours. Now, I'm not suggesting we all do that, heavens no, but what he meant was, don't just pass time, fill it. Do things that make you feel alive, that make you laugh, that give you purpose, something to build, something to give, something to look forward to. He said that when we were kids, we'd get so lost in play, we'd forget to eat or sleep. That's the spirit he believed we should carry into our later years. Not childish, but childlike, curious, absorbed, joyful. He said, "Energy comes from doing what you enjoy, not from eating well or sleeping long hours." And it's true, isn't it? There's a different kind of energy that shows up when you're excited about something. It doesn't come from vitamins. It comes from being present. So whatever this stage of life looks like for you, retired or working, alone or surrounded, energetic or a bit creaky, find something that makes you smile from the inside out. And don't feel guilty for enjoying it. Life isn't a punishment, it's a privilege. So go enjoy it. Tip number 8. Stay independent. Use your strength while you have it. Here's something Dr. Hinohara believed deeply. And it's not just about stairs or steps. It's about dignity. Even into his hundreds, he refused to rely on others to do the little things for him. Because every time we give those things away, we lose a little piece of our independence. It wasn't about pride. It was about staying involved in your own life. He knew that the moment we stop doing small things, picking up a bag, standing up without help, climbing 2 steps, the body starts to assume it's no longer needed. Dr. Hinohara said, "The muscles are like children. If you ignore them, they sulk." Of course, there's no shame in needing help, and we all reach a point where certain things get harder. But the goal is to use what we've got while we've still got it, because that's what keeps us mobile and proud. There's real power in saying, "I can still carry this. I can still do that. I still choose for myself." So don't let people baby you. And don't baby yourself either. Take the stairs when you can. Carry the groceries if it's safe. Get out of the chair on your own, even if it takes a few extra seconds. Because independence isn't about doing everything. It's about doing what you can, with what you've still got. Tip number 9, stop worrying so much. This one hits close to home for a lot of us, especially the older we get. Worry becomes a bit of a hobby, doesn't it? We worry about our health, our kids, the heating bill, whether that noise in the car is serious or just character. But the good doctor said something that stuck with me. Life is an unpredictable chain of events, and worrying too much about what may come only spoils what is. He believed that anxiety robs you of the moment you're in. Worry doesn't prepare you. It wears you down. It burns through your energy and offers very little in return. Don't get me wrong. We all worry. I'm not saying to ignore your problems, but there's a difference between being prepared and being consumed. Dr. Hinohara worked with thousands of patients, and what he saw, again and again, was that people who focused on what they could control and let go of the rest tended to do better. They healed faster. They smiled more. They had more energy left for living. Dr. Hinohara said, "Try not to take life too seriously. You'll never get out of it alive anyway." So maybe today ask yourself, is this worry actually helping me? Or am I just rehearsing for something that may never happen? Let it go. Tip number 10. Share what you know, because someone needs it. Here's something Dr. Hinohara believed with all his heart. If you've lived it, learned it, or limped through it, you should pass it on. He said, "The purpose of knowledge is not to possess it, but to give it away." And he did just that. Even in his later years, he traveled the country giving lectures, sometimes over 100 a year, standing the whole time. Not because he needed applause, but because he knew someone out there needed what he had to say. You don't have to be a doctor to do the same. If you've got a skill, teach it. If you've made a mistake, talk about it. If you've learned something the hard way, make sure someone else doesn't have to. I know too many people who think they've outlived their usefulness. Nonsense. If you've made it this far, you're a library, full of chapters others haven't read yet. The doctor said, even after a person dies, their knowledge can live on, if they've shared it well. So don't keep it to yourself. Tell your stories. Pass on the recipe. Teach the grandkids how to hem a pair of trousers. Write things down. Say things out loud. Be generous with what life has taught you. Tip number 11. Don't be crazy about money. It's not what matters most. Let's talk about money. Dr. Hinohara had a very clear view on it. No one really needs to be rich. You can't take it with you. He wasn't against money. He just didn't think it deserved as much power as we give it. He lived modestly. He didn't splash out on luxury or chase wealth for the sake of it. What he valued was time, purpose, and people, not possessions. And I think that's something we all learn eventually, not because someone tells us, but because we feel it. You buy the nice thing, and then what? You want another one, and another. And eventually, you forget why you were chasing it in the first place. Dr. Hinohara believed that service, generosity, and curiosity brought far more satisfaction than money ever could. He spent his days working, teaching, writing, not to earn more, but to give more. And in a world obsessed with shiny things, that kind of thinking is a breath of fresh air. So yes, be smart with your money. Save when you can, spend when it matters, but don't let it rule your happiness. Tip number 12, find a role model, someone who helps you choose better. Find someone to look up to, not to worship, not to imitate perfectly, but to anchor you. The doctor said, "My role model was my father. Whenever I faced something difficult, I would ask myself, what would Father have done?" Isn't that lovely? It wasn't about pressure. It was about guidance, about having a compass when your head's spinning. We all hit crossroads in life, moments where we're unsure, scared, angry, tempted, tired, and having someone, even in memory, to measure yourself against, that can bring real clarity. Now your role model might be a parent, or a teacher, or a friend who survived something you never thought you could, or someone from history or faith, or even someone you've never met, just someone who lives in your heart as a kind of steady voice. Dr. Hinohara said, "Role models teach us how to think, not just what to do." So take a moment to think about your role model. Who taught you how to face life? Who reminded you of who you are? Keep them close. You don't have to be them. Just let them guide you back to yourself. Tip number 13. Don't rely too much on doctors. Now, this last one might raise a few eyebrows, especially coming from a man who was a doctor for over 70 years. But Dr. Hinohara believed we rely too much on medicine, machines, and prescriptions, and not enough on our own sense of balance. He said, when a doctor recommends you take a test or have surgery, ask if they would suggest the same for their own family. He wasn't saying ignore medical advice, let's be clear. He just believed that health isn't only found in hospitals, it's found in your habits, your spirit, your outlook, your choices. He warned that sometimes the more we chase tests and scans and pills, the more we end up focusing on being sick instead of staying well. He said, to stay healthy, look at your lifestyle, not your symptoms. Most problems start long before they're measured. He encouraged people to stay physically active, eat lightly, laugh often, stay social, and be curious about what their body is telling them. And most importantly, he believed that the fear of illness could sometimes do more damage than the illness itself. Now, of course, listen to your doctor, take your medicine, get your checkups, but also ask questions. Also trust your instincts, and don't let your health become your only topic of conversation. You're not just a collection of conditions, you're a person, a whole, beautiful, breathing story. And Dr. Hinohara never let that part get lost. Well, there we are. 13 pieces of advice from a man who lived longer and arguably wiser than most of us ever will. I've done my best to share them with you. And no, I don't get them all right either. But we try, don't we? If this video made you think, or breathe a little easier, or even just feel like someone understands, then I'm glad we shared this time. And if you'd like to hear more from me, go on and click like, subscribe, and hit that little bell if you haven't done so already. It helps more than you know. And it lets me know you're still out there too, and I'm not just talking to myself. Thank you for being here. And remember, you don't need to do everything perfectly. You just need to stay curious and keep showing up. Bye for now.